today we got to play Boonlake. So we did not anticipate this taking all day.
It took a while.
It took a minute. But before we get to it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing. And that is what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. All right, Birdman, tell us more about this game.
Boonlake came out 2021. Overall rank is 1424, which is pretty good rank for overall pretty good game. Rated at 7.8. Designed by one of our favorite designers, Alexander Pfister. Art by Clemens Franz, which I like his artwork quite a bit. Produced by DLP Games, and I believe brought to the United States by Capstone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alexander, what other games does he do?
Who?
Alexander
Pfister? He did Cloud Age. He did Mombasa. He did,
Is it Great Western Trail?
Great Western Trail.
Ah, yes.
He's done all kinds of really good ones.
That was one of my favorites. So. You're right, we do like them quite a bit.
Yes.
And like Capstone Games. I mean, it was like the perfect, melding.
But MSRP, it's a little pricey. It's $69.95, but you can definitely get it cheaper. Card House has got it for $48.49. eBay is selling a copy for $72.
Wow.
So, well, there you go.
Hey, check it out.
Yep.
All right. Now let's talk about quality components. So you do have
Lots of wooden bits.
Lots of wooden bits.
They're fairly generic. I mean, it's the houses and cities from
cities.
Yeah.
No,
Catan, basically.
No, the houses actually have an overhang where the ones in
so they put in a gutter system.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you've got cattle. That's pretty
That don't
neat.
look like cattle. If you set it up on its side, it looks like a squirrel. Just like
It's a crazy. It looks like a buffalo, actually. I don't know why they call it cattle, but
No, it looks like a cow. And then you've got the cowboys from Great Western Trail.
Right.
And then you have these canoe boats.
yeah, canoes and ships.
And
You have a
ships.
ship.
We
Well,
do-
you got two ships.
I got an extra
Once
ship.
again, I got a bad copy, and instead of one of my cowboys, I got a extra ship.
I like to think of it as a floater worker. So he floated around to different things. So.
And then, we also have a little bit of cardboard chits. We do got the cardboard money. We do have these tiles, inlaid boards. We will say with quality of pieces, there is some assembly required, right?
There
for the
is
inlaid
a
boards.
ton of punching, and I have a bag that I filled with all of the extraneous bits that were punched out of this that would actually supply another board game. And I threw most of them away. So this is not environmentally friendly at all. There is a ton of extra, but I kept them because I'm like, well, we got the pieces from the Oh My Cabbages, and now we got these pieces. Between them, we could probably start making a game.
But the weird thing is that you had to put the boards together, right?
Yeah, you have, the inlaid boards are assembly required. They have little stickers that are two-sided that you put in there, and they have spots drawn on there to say sticker or glue or whatever, and you put it there and you remove the backing, and then you have to push them. Unfortunately, that leaves gaps all along, so I really should have glued it, like hard glued
I really like
down.
the idea of a developer doing that because it would cut down on costs if they don't have to put the boards to make them inlay together. But they need a better. I think they would need a better way of actually gluing them together instead of having to do little corner strips and all the way around. It would have been a whole lot better. But I think this is the first game I know of that I've seen that you actually have to put your boards together.
No, I think
like
we
that.
have one other one.
But
I don't remember which one.
I think it's a good way to maybe be able to cut a little bit of cost, but still have that nice inlay board that we appreciate so much.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with
I
that.
think it's a good idea.
Card quality, so no linen finish. They were okay thickness. There is a lot of handling, so sleeves might not be a miss for this one.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be a good idea.
But overall, I think you get a lot for what you're paying for. I think the inlaid boards are I couldn't imagine trying to play this without the inlaid boards. That would have been disastrous.
I was planning on reading the rules last night to play this, and ended up spending all night punching and assembling the game. And
Well, it's a good
by
thing
the time
you
I
did.
was done, I was tired.
Right.
Yeah, so overall though, quality wise, give it a score, guys.
It's definitely not up to the standards of the latest Capstone games we've been seeing. I think the Capstone is, some of the ones we've seen have been remarkable.
Right.
This is definitely not there as far as quality.
But it's still good.
It's not bad. It's just not up to the standards we've been seeing lately.
It's not great. It's good.
I'll probably give it a 7.
I was thinking a 7. I mean, if maybe they did some silk screening on houses or a little bit more to the wooden bits, I would have given it a little bit higher score. But it's okay.
So I'm actually going to give this a little bit higher because of the inlaid boards. I know we had to assemble them, which I know is a huge negative to Randy. But the reality is...
If they weren't stickers, he might have been a little bit better. But he hates stickers.
Oh, see, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
But the reality is when you think about our scoring matrix, inlaid boards probably deserves an 8. And I think it was absolutely necessary with this. The other piece of it that we haven't really described, this wise as far as functionality and everything, I really liked this piece. The fact that it wasn't attached to the board, that we could move it from player to player.
I liked it. I like that a lot as well, but I don't know if I'd really put that under quality pieces. It's definitely part of gameplay.
Yeah.
I really do like that.
Well, but sometimes a lot of times we talk about quality pieces, we talk about functionality. There's a lot of functionality within this game.
Count that, and you've also got the levers. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
So I have to at least give this an 8, guys, and I say at least because there's a lot of good.
So you bumped it from a 7.5 to an 8 in less than a few minutes.
No, I was at an 8 to begin with.
I think it's a 7.5 first.
No, I said 8.
It don't matter. You got an 8.
It's an 8.
It's an 8.
No, because I do think there's a lot of good quality functionality to this game. All right, so let's then talk about theme. There is one.
Well,
it's very
technically
confusing. A farming game.
It is. It's very confusing because they've got like Boone on the cover, or the Boonlake has like, it looks like technology, like little lines like you see on a circuit board, but there's nothing to do with technology in this game.
I think it has to do with certain mapping.
It looks like
that's definitely
it looks like a tech chip. And it's also on the player boards in the corners. They've got it blending into the people. So it's almost like a cyber system, a farming system, but there's no evidence of that in the gameplay. I mean, it looks like an old-time Western city. Some of the buildings look a little more modern, I guess, but I didn't get any sense of like a tech in this game. So it's just kind of an odd choice as far as the lettering.
Because I was going to say maybe it's a schematic, but no, it definitely looks like a
but look at these buildings. These buildings that's a little techno.
I don't know where that comes in.
And then look at this. The watchtower is weird.
I wonder if this is like part of the Cloud Age.
Maybe, but there's no mention of that.
But it's just not obviously up in the clouds. This is like down back on the planet.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Now we're intrigued.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know
Alexander Pfister. If you know more, please let us know.
Well, he made the game, so if anybody knows, it would be him. I can't imagine he doesn't know.
Just saying.
Yeah, it just seems like an odd choice.
It'd be kind of cool if you reach out and let us know.
If they would have included more into the gameplay to actually build on that, but I just didn't see. I mean, everything in the game felt like just a standard, cattle ranchers and
so the art really sometimes didn't match necessarily the feel of the game.
But apart from that, I mean, I like the way they've integrated into the gameplay all of the cards were amazing. There's 165 of them in the game. There's a ton of variety.
We didn't even get through them all, but we didn't shuffle very well.
Yeah, we did not shuffle. Make sure you shuffle thoroughly at the beginning because all the cards are clumped together.
Yeah, do have like a good magic shuffle or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
162 card pickup.
Between that and the way I like the way the boats flow down the river and that gives you resources. I mean, it's really cool about how the mechanisms, especially the player board, which we'll talk to more on the playthrough, or not playthrough, but the gameplay. I really like the theme. I just don't think it's the theme that seems to be advertised on the box. Or
on the cards, though. Like, if you look at some of this artwork.
As a farm game, it's an amazing.
There's a
amazing,
petting zoo, guys. Like.
Yeah. But it doesn't really look. But it looks like a radio on the outside of it.
It looks like a petting rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a petting stone.
I mean,
some
of this doesn't match.
Yeah, some of it doesn't match up well. But, I do like the art style, except for the people. The ones that have people on them are kind of creepy.
They are kind of creepy.
But, yeah, I like the buildings and the way they look on there. I'll probably give this an 8, I think.
I think I'm going to go a little bit lower. I do like the artwork. It's the artwork on the cards was nice. The artwork on the board is kind of old school Euro look, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's kind of bland colors and nothing really bright and vibrant about it. And the theme just doesn't make sense to me. So if they situated it like as just a traditional farming game, it'd make a whole lot more sense. Generic, yes, but it would make more sense. I think I'm going to go 7.5.
I'm gonna go with the 7 because I didn't even know we had a theme. But I do think that if it would have been interesting to know if it is connected with Cloud Age,
Yeah,
like the story behind it, I think that would be pretty cool.
that would be cool.
But that
We don't know that.
we don't know that. So anyway, all right. So now let's move on to the rulebook. Randy, you read the rulebook.
Yes, the rulebook is 24 pages, but when I first got it out, I was like, okay, it's going to be a long read. It's not a hard read because the actual gameplay of it is from page 1 to 14. Now, there is no cover. It goes straight into the rules, or at least the materials. And then the layout is done nicely for setting up the game. It's very easy to set up, even though there are a lot of bits. But it doesn't feel like that it's a lot to get out. Punching it to get it set up the first time, it's going to take a while. But the setup didn't take that long.
And it's variable too, so that's a great part of it.
As a comparison, we were kind of tag teaming. You were setting up Nemesis Lockdown. While I was setting this up,
and
I
he
beat
got
you
done
and read the rules
by quite a bit.
So. I beat you and read the rules by the time you were done setting up. Well, I'm just saying that's an idea of how complex the read it was. The last, or after the page 14, there is the solo play, and that
cool. I didn't know
is
solo in it.
Yeah, there's a whole nother set of pieces for the solo.
You know,
play.
a lot more coming out with solo play. I kind of want.
Yeah,
I want to play some of these.
It's kind of standard. The problem is that just trying to make sure that when they make the solo game, they make a good solo game, because so many times, even today, it's just kind of pasted on because so many people want it to be solo in order to buy it.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that means that if I played solo, I would actually have to put it together and then take it down.
No, it's worse than that. You have to write the rules.
Yeah, see, and that's just not what I do. They need to do the apps.
So solo play is 4 pages long, and then it goes into all of the symbology, and there's a lot of it.
There is a lot.
So from page 18 to the end 24, it's all symbology. There is no cheat sheet. It would have been nice to have had cheat sheets because all that symbology would have been nice as reference.
You think, though, that the cheat sheet would be big enough? I mean, you'd almost have to have a full page.
Well, when we played, what was it, Bitoku, we played the other day, they actually had a 2-fold thing for everyone that had all the things. It was very nice.
Kind of like a Tricerian pamphlet.
Yeah, this one needed that. And because we had to keep referring to it all throughout the game, the rules, because there's a lot of iconography. And it's not
just
all
a lot
clear.
of cards, and it's just so much.
So given that, I think I'll give it a 7 because I think the rules were clear. They were fine. I just think it needed to have that cheat sheet for all the iconography. Now, it does have on the board the scoring, 2 different scoring mechanisms in iconography form. But we still use the book as we walk through those to
make sure we got
it right. So, I think 7 is probably a good score for it.
All right, so now let's talk about gameplay. So gameplay is this beautiful board. All right, so basically the first player has to choose one of the action tiles. And if you'll notice over here, there's some numbers. If you do the 2 most recent, you do end up getting negative victory points along with a very slow movement of the boat. And the further you go up, basically, the longer it's been since that item's been chosen, the more movement that you get on the boat. That movement on your boat is actually the time, the timer for the game. So just kind of being aware of that. So just because, and it's not you have to move 4, you choose to move up to 4. So
but you have to move at least 1.
You have to at least move, just so FYI. So then you choose one of the tiles, and depending on the tile you choose, there's an action for you, and there's an action for everyone else, including you sometimes, but not necessarily always. And so
it also determines the card type you can play.
Correct. So depending on the color here, so basically we'll just start out with blue just so you guys can see it. So this has the sun icon, so that means I can play a sun card or I can discard a sun card for 2 money. So once I either play it or discard it, then I can then choose to place a tile, and then the arrow is the breaking point to say, and it says everybody, so there's symbology up here in the corner that says, oh, if it's just you or everybody that's playing. In this case, it's just everybody, or it's everybody, so you get to then place a cattle following the cattle rules. And then, or if you don't want to place a cattle, you can choose to play another card of any type, or discard of any type for 2 money. Now, let's look at cards.
When you play the everybody plays section, the person who's taking their turn goes first and you go around the table. But if it doesn't impact anything, you can all do it simultaneously.
Yeah. All right. So if you'll notice here's what the card will look like. I'm sure Randy will blow it up for you. Congratulations. You'll oversee it for here that there is the cost of actually playing the card is over here on this side. But then you have the benefit. Some of them, they're instantaneous. You'll notice that by the lightning mark. The green is ongoing effect. And then there is the black, which is in-game scoring. And then down here at the bottom, you have the name, obviously some artwork, but then you also have the victory points that are associated with it. Typically, if they had in-game scoring, this victory point would have a question mark because it just depends on what that looks like. So that's kind of an explanation of the cards. And so then, so I did take this one, right? So I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move my boat once everyone's completed. I'm going to, this is really cool, guys. So you're going to just slide this up. You're going to place the one that just got played, moving that forward. So I thought that this was really interesting, that way to keep it kind of fresh instead of roll selection where you kind of run out of stuff, and then you have to shuffle. And I think this was a lot better. So it still forces people to...
I've seen this done before, but this was done well. I like the way it was done.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that it's an inlay board, and we used it, we passed it around. Now, there is a risk of doing that where if somebody drops it or whatever, then the game's
but it's so much helpful because you can actually see it instead of being like, what does it say over there? No, this is the way to do it, my friends. So I really appreciated that. So some of the actions, so there's a couple of things going on as far as action tiles. So obviously you have setting pasture tiles and putting cows on there. So the cows, depending on the number of cows on the tile, is how many workers that you have to pay to put them on there. So basically you're rustling them to the pasture. And then there is also the playing of the city tiles. So there's gray tiles that you'll put out that gives you an opportunity to build cities. But building cities is actually a long process. So at first you start out placing a single worker on a location. And then at some point during the game, you'll have an opportunity to upgrade, which is the green, slash up arrow. It's not a straight green arrow up and down. It's more of a whoosh.
It's like you're picking it up. So
yeah. So then you're going to change it out from a meeple, and you're going to actually end up paying.
Yeah, you have to spend a dude from.
So you lose the meeple from there, but you also have to pay another meeple, and then you get to place this on the board. And then if you have, I don't have any left, we're going to put these back on the board because I need them. Okay.
And each time you take something off your board, it's giving you income underneath it. So.
Yeah.
So very much like Terra Mystica.
So then say I wanted to upgrade this, I would move this off, move that here.
But the settlements are significantly more expensive.
Pay 2 workers. Actually, at the bottom, you end up having to pay extra, which makes sense.
And you also have to make sure that there's things touching, because there has to be at least 3 things touching it, either in the exact space or in adjacent spaces.
Yeah.
And there's ways to break that with some other abilities.
Yes.
But
now, there are 2 workers on this side of the board. Those don't get released until the ones all next to them get done, and then they immediately go into your play area, so you actually have some... it's a nice little bonus when you complete a row. All right. So then the other thing you can do is this, I think, is actually a really cool mechanism, is these little doors. So basically you can choose to purchase these levers, and you put them on here, and you get to use them once per scoring round. There's a total of 4 in the game. So when you use it, you push it down so you don't see that action anymore. I think that's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps track of abilities way better than tapping a card, because then the tapping cards, they get shuffled around.
Right.
Or then putting the little icon, because sometimes you forget to put them and then you forget to remove them, and it's a whole mess. This I like a lot better. So I thought
there's all kinds of cool abilities too. It's just, the mechanism is neat, sliding it up and down, but there's like some really game-breaking stuff that changes the rules for you, and it makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I think one of the reasons why I ended up getting so far behind is Randy got this for 2 scoring mechanisms versus I didn't get it for any.
No, I only got to use it once.
Okay,
I got to use it once.
Okay, maybe.
I just got to take advantage of it whenever I had a peak of buildings on the board.
Okay, all right. So that's actually really cool. So that's one action, and then we've already talked about upgrading. We've talked about playing the city tiles, playing a card. We've talked about that.
What we didn't really talk about is when you do get the first thing you do is you play a card on your turn, and you can either play it to get 2 money as a discard, just throwing it out away, or you can play it in front of you and it stays as permanent victory points at the end of the game, and that's when you get all the different
or the special
or you can use it to put a dude down on the map to be able to, if you can meet the requirements, basically fill in a contract, then you can get like all kinds of cool bonuses.
So let's talk about scoring because there's a lot of things going on. Okay, so there's a couple of scoring mechanisms. So there is a money income track, a card income track, and with those, the higher you go, you get more victory points. Not necessarily always more stuff, right? Because your money goes up, goes down, goes back up, but then your cards go up, then go back down, but you get more victory points as you go through that process. So there's a lot of victory points there. One of the other victory point options is over here down below, is if you complete. So at the beginning of the game, you start out with 2 tiles. Everyone starts out with 2 tiles and they choose one and place it on the board. And then there's a couple of requirements for this. So there's 2 pieces of it. There's the top piece and there's the bottom piece. So as Rob was saying, that top piece during the game, instead of playing a card, you can choose to play the top. So for 15 money, 2 wood, and 2 stone, you get this ability here. Now, I do want to caveat, this game is a little different because we didn't talk about this. The resources stay in your pool. So your wood, so you end up with manufacturing plants. So it's more the way
it's the potential
it's what
for
it can
resources.
produce.
It's how much you can produce of it, and that's spent. There's no tangible product you're using. It's
right.
The only thing you actually spend is either money or the bases.
Yeah.
Right. So what I kind of think about it as is when Splendor, it's the cards and splendors, not the coins. So and that helped me kind of work through that. But you will spend the 15 coins and you'll get these cool stuff. Now there's also this bottom piece here. Now this bottom piece here, you'll end up with 4, 1 for each round. And you have to choose at the end of each round which one to trigger. Okay, so if you meet the conditions, you'll get the victory points that are located up here. But if you don't, there's negative victory points if you don't get to meet
by the end of the game, because you're going to play each round. You're going to play a scoring round. You're going to play a token to score one of those tracks, and if you did not meet it, then
so you may end up being forced to choose a track you didn't meet.
So that's the part I don't get it. So what if I didn't meet it? I didn't score it, but if I meet it later on in the game, I don't lose the points. I just didn't get them.
No, when you have to play the token, whenever somebody crosses the threshold, if you cannot play on one you've got the criteria for, you're going to have to play a token no matter what.
Right.
So that's at that point, if you play a token, you lose those victory
That's what I
points.
thought. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And one of them is the one you chose, and it's got a doubler on it. So if you don't have the criteria for the one you chose,
lose 2 times
you get double the penalty.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. That's pretty...
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be... It was very intimidating at first.
When you were talking about it, it sounded like it was scary.
But then,
you said 64 points, and it wasn't even...
that's when we started figuring it out. It turns out it was a doubler. But when we went through it, it was like, okay, this seems like it's going to be bad, but then we all met it. We never had a penalty.
Yeah, so...
And we talked about that a little bit while we were playing, that it's
not bad, but you have to be aware. You
kind of thought of it like a way to guide you on some of the decisions that you have to make in the game. And you definitely have to pay attention to that.
But you could have somebody decide to rush the game and cause a problem, especially early game, because this ramped up. It took a while to build up.
Cross that
I think we were all so nervous about speeding up the game too fast because we were concerned. But, and that may be one of the reasons why it was a little bit longer. But then towards the end, I was like, oh, I have an option to move 4. I'm moving 4. I'm over, I'm ready to move on. So I do think that there's a little bit of that. And then I think that's...
Well, we didn't touch about on the production. The boats up here is a really cool mechanism.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about boats.
As you're going, you start out with your boats are all at the end, and you don't have any factories except you get to choose one at the beginning. So you want to look at your cards and decide, okay, this is the most commonly occurring of the resources. They have wood. I don't know what that is. A red is tapestry or gem or something.
I think it's a gem.
It's a gem.
Then you have stone and
handkerchiefs.
Textiles.
I guess. I don't know. Blueprint, it looks like. But
like
you have those 4 different types of goods up here. And you start out with 2 wood because that's where your boats are. Each boat produces whatever it is under. And you have the freedom to move them anywhere down the track anytime you want. There's no restriction. But
It's like you're going down the river.
Yeah, you're going down the river, but you can't go back up without paying 2 coin. So you can move them all the way to the end, but then you're going to pay 2 coin to bring them back anywhere up the track. So it doesn't matter how many steps you move back up. You're going to pay 2 coin to go all the way to the beginning or 1 step up. But you can manage basically a fluctuating variable production, and I thought that was really cool.
It's a really neat idea. I like that quite a bit. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Just the concept of it.
Well, listen, I'm going to be honest, since we practically wrapped up how to play the game. There are so many cool mechanisms, and there's a lot of functionality to the different pieces of the game. Like you have these sliding things that make, once around things make a little more sense and a little more manageable. This is fantastic. This section here, there's a lot of cool, interesting things that occur in this game that you don't see everywhere, and I think it turned out fantastic.
It is definitely a unique game. It's not. Yeah. I can't compare this to any other game.
No.
I mean, when I first got it out, I was like, this really reminds me of Great Western Trail. But it's not. It's not really like it. Just looks like it.
But I think that's why I like Alexander Pfister so much, because like Mombasa, it's a unique game, and I love that game. It's very unique. And I think Great Western Trail is a pretty unique game. You know, there's a lot of unique elements to that game, and same with this.
Yeah, no. So it's fantastic that getting someone that's so versatile and creating these very unique, dramatic games. I loved it. I really did. I appreciated a lot about it.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to play it.
What do you mentioned that you think your favorite part is?
It's a toss-up. I really like how the factory mechanic works into it as far as reducing the cost of your cards, and I really like the lever system. I think those two combined really, make this game completely unique and really shines for me.
Well, what about you?
I like everything about managing the player board. It felt like I had a lot of control over my game. I was able to, build up and score the victory points on each of the scoring rounds based upon what I got off my board. I like that. I like building up my lever system in the way that I wanted to, because you can play it in any order you want as long as you can pay the coin underneath. And then, controlling my production. All of that was a balancing system, because I was like, okay, my cards are like this. I have some good ones here that are based upon wood and stone. So I'm going to try to play all those back to back. But then I also have to consider the benefits of the card. So it's not
what
just,
actions are available.
Yeah, it's not just about managing what your production is. It's also about what benefit I'm going to get out of it and figuring out where am I going to optimize. And I like that. It was an interesting puzzle, and there's a lot of moving pieces to it.
I gotta say, this is my favorite because I can see it. Like, I can literally have it in front of me and choose.
It's like you're doing an order on a menu or something.
Well, the fact that then you're picking it and then you're doing your thing, and so you have it right in front of you, and then you go, okay, you're next. I'm sorry. I love that. I feel like an old lady because this is my favorite part. But it is. And I just think about, if, like my dad was trying to play this or my mom was trying to play this. Hallelujah.
I would probably not pass that around. In that case, we'd have it dropped on the floor, and then that would ruin the whole game.
No. But still, I appreciate this quite a bit. Let's talk about scoring, guys.
It's a solid game. I think I'd give it a 9. It's really good.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
I'm struggling here because I really want to give this like a 10, but I don't think it's quite there.
What do you think's missing?
I don't know.
I think a stronger theme. I mean,
theme is definitely. I just don't understand the tech out of the box.
And then just maybe card quality, maybe a little bit of the cardboard quality.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't. It's a solid 9. I mean, it's just not at a 10 because it could be component-wise a little bit better.
From a gameplay perspective, it's so unique.
Yes.
And it's got, everything about it I liked. I love the fact that we didn't make it through the card deck, and there's so much more to cover. I have no idea what's coming. I'm excited about that. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it a 10.
You go, girl.
That's
you
right.
do it.
I think I'm at a 9.5. I'm right in the middle of the road. There is that extra spark. There's something there because I think about Great Western Trail and loving the theme, you know, and really enjoying it. The gameplay on this is top notch.
Solid.
I just wish the theme pushed it a little bit more. I mean, just to, you know what I mean? I just needed a little bit more. Like if we had a story about Cloud Age and all this mess, you know, that would have worked out. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's that little bit of wowness to make it a 10. But 9.5, still, it's a fantastic game. I do think it's unique enough. People need this in their collection. I'm not mad that Randy bought this.
Yeah, I mean, the game says it's 40 minutes per player. We went longer than that, but I didn't think it felt like it was long.
It didn't, but
it did until we got hungry.
And even though it was a learning game, I don't think it took that much longer for us to learn it because after that, really not even the first round, after the first couple of pass-throughs.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, Randy takes a long time doing action sometimes.
Yeah, but we all do. Yeah, we all do. I think this particular game, he might have been a little bit longer, but not. I don't think unusually so.
I like teasing him. All right, but anyway, still, I had a great time.
It's a great game.
I had an absolute
I will
blast.
probably be picking this up.
Yeah, this one's definitely good. I just hope we get to play it soon. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.